This has been a really sad week for all of us because, well, popular opinion has lost out once again and, well, net neutrality has been abolished. So yes, it is really sad. On the one hand, the vote to end net neutrality has given the internet's just general freedom a huge blow. And, well, we don't really know what it's actually going to do because, well, yes, it might lead to companies kind of charging huge premiums to other companies for just having unrestricted bandwidth, and smaller internet-based operations are just going to die out because they're going to be relegated to the poor bit of the internet because they can't afford the premiums of bandwidth, and it's just basically going to turn the internet into a virtual version of real life. On the other hand, there is one exciting thing that came out of it, which is pretty much the most epic Twitter exchange that's happened in my history, in my memory at least, and it's between the kind of our hero, our favorite guy, which is Pi, the FCC chairman that's let all this happen, or that's kind of pushed for all of this to happen, and Mark Hamill of all people. So Skywalker decided to get in on this. So this was the day before the vote was going to happen, and Pi released some ridiculous video in which he was talking about how, oh, you nerds who use the internet can still do all your fandom things, and then he kind of holds up a lightsaber and swishes it around a little. And then Mark tweets at Pi, and I'm gonna read the exact quote here. He said, "Cute video, Ajit, aren't I precious, Pi? But you are profoundly unworthy to wield a lightsaber. A Jedi acts selflessly for the common man, not lie to enrich giant corporations. By the way, I really like this bit. By the way, did you pay John Williams his royalty for the lightsaber?" So that was enough to kind of dampen anybody's day, to have Luke Skywalker send a fairly passive-aggressive tweet at you about what a terrible person you are. And then, out of pretty much nowhere, Ted Cruz decides to weigh in, and he tweets, "Luke, I know Hollywood can be confusing, but it was Vader who supported government power over everything said and done on the internet. That's why giant corporations, Google, Facebook, Netflix, supported the FCC power grab of net neutrality. Reject the dark side. Free the internet." Well, I mean, it's pretty clear here that Ted Cruz has never watched Star Wars. But just why does he feel he needs to weigh in on this situation? He had nothing to do with what was going on. He was obviously trying to get down with the youths, I guess, with his complete lack of information. And then Donald Trump Jr. tweets, "Ted Cruz kills Luke Skywalker again." Again, Jedi apparently no match for facts. What? I don't even how do you type a tweet like that and then you're not embarrassed to send it out to the world? Because it's just that's such a he's obviously, can I just say, they need no paternity test. He's obviously Donald Trump's son, because fake news. Anyway, so this has just been a great exchange between a bunch of people who don't understand what they're referencing or why any of this is bad or what's going on, and it just gave me a good chuckle this morning. Anyway, let's get into some tech news. According to recent, market research, analysis, I don't really know what the right word is, but somebody went and looked into how much money the top 5 tech companies spend on startup acquisition, which is essentially buying random startups with a fairly decent idea. And apparently Apple is the company that spends by far the least on startup acquisition, even though it's the first company, it's just the biggest company ever. And apparently it's going to reach over $1 trillion next year, which is exciting for Tim Cook and pretty much no one else. But the reason this is interesting is because, Apple only cares about their own business model, apparently, according to this. But then I thought, you know what? Why would Apple spend money on startup acquisition? Because all they do is see this like new, better idea, wait 2 years, and then just release a horrible version of it that then everybody uses, and then everybody goes, oh wow, this was the thing that started it. So why would they need to buy startups if they're just gonna anyway use the idea badly and then still be the winners in the situation? And then get sued, but because they have the biggest legal team, just nothing happens. And I know it seems like I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel for news here, but Corsair is to release 2 new AIOs called the H115i and the H150i. They've got a whole kind of redesigned pump face, which I think is pretty hideous, but you know, some people might like it. And the H115i is a kind of dual radiator design standard to their like H100 and all of the rest of them basically, but the H150i is going to be a triple radiator design, which is kind of the first one that Corsair has released, and you know, they're jumping on that bandwagon. One interesting thing about these AIOs is that they're actually going to have ML series fans on them from Corsair, and this is exciting because the ML series fans are like the maglev fans, which are really quiet and have really high static pressure at low RPMs. So that's quite cool that they included like way better fans as standard. They're probably going to be super expensive though. Seagate is all proud of themselves because they've designed a new way of making traditional platter hard drives much faster. So what they've done is called multi-platter actuator arm design. I think they have a way more catchy name for it, but I mean, it doesn't need to be catchy, it works, supposedly. So how normal hard drives work is they have the kind of like platter disks that the information is written to, and then they have like the arms that go over these disks and read and write information, which is a bit of a bottleneck because they can only read and write from specific places on the drive at a time. So their way, Seagate's way of getting around this is by adding another kind of bank of these actuator arms so that they can read information on a different part of the drive at the same time as the other bank is reading on a different part. So this is apparently similar to having RAID kind of internally in one hard drive, and it might actually double the actual bandwidth throughput of traditional mechanical drives, which, you know, kudos to you, Seagate. Anyways, that's all I have for this week. Sorry that I didn't release a video on the weekend. My liquid-cooled PC kind of defeated me a little bit, but I have won, and it's really awesome, and the videos are going to be great. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked this video, do like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Otherwise, do dislike and leave mean comments. And yes, until next week, that was it for this week in the